What's going on, everybody? Trevor Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Rich. Today, as you can see, we are reviewing the latest batch from Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is the B522. We might have a divisive batch on our hands. I've opened this bottle. I've had a few pours out of it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna get this out of the way right up front. I've kind of been skeptical. I've been on the fence of how I even feel about this batch. I wanted to let it sit for a week. I've let it stay open. I have not gone back to it since then. I want to just kind of forget all of my initial thoughts. I want to come into this with a fresh mindset to see if maybe it's changed a little bit, but I don't know, I'm kind of scared. As always, I want all of you to formulate your own opinions. Take all of this with a grain of salt. I am just a dude. I just want to give you what I get, and I want you, if you try this bottle, to leave a comment down below. This comment section is where it's all at. Let's start a discussion, what you think about this batch, what notes you get. It helps us, talk, discuss, share inputs, and helps others read those comments and formulate an opinion of their own. So without further ado, let's get right into it. B522, 121 proof, 60.5%. Sticking with the low proof entries and still 12 years old. Got my eye on you. Same old B batch comes out in May. Let's just get right into it. On the nose. Very, very sweet. Super intense sweetness coming off of this. Even a little bit of spiciness, so kind of like a cinnamon, peppery note. Really, really good. Very, very subtle oak, not over the top, especially being 12 years old. You're not getting a whole lot of oakiness. It's there, but I think the sweetness really, really takes over. Also, the classic peanut note, very subdued. Again, I think it's buried and lost behind the sweetness. I think that's the fourth. It gets kind of lost in all of that sweetness. That's definitely the front runner on this, is just sweetness, and I think a lot of spiciness. So cinnamon spice, sweetness, almost a little cherry fruitiness going on. So just think sweet and spicy. All right, let's just taste this sucker. And then there's that. This might be the easiest drinking Elijah Craig Barrel Proof batch ever. I've seen other people use the word it's light. I might even go as far as saying this is flat. The nose was, spicy and sweet. It was dense, and then you taste this and it just seems like you turned the volume knob down. Why'd you do that? Very, very light, almost non-existent on the front of the palate. Like the tip of my tongue, did I even drink alcohol? Not a tingle taste bud fired up on the tip of my tongue. The mid palate starts to finally taste some things, so some of that sweetness, it's like sweet, oaky cinnamon spice, which is fine, it's good. And then it hits the back of the palate, and then it just disappears. I don't know if I'm just being overly harsh or if I just was expecting so much more from the nose, and then when I taste it, it's like, where was all of that boldness? Where is all of that aggression that you were showing me? It's gone. The shadow of the monster's bigger than the monster itself. Let me go back. I don't know, man. I honestly feel like this is gonna be a super divisive batch. I think some people are going to really love this. It's not that it tastes bad. There's nothing off-putting, but I think there's very few notes actually going on parts of the tongue that are even tasting it. Like I said, the front of the palate, I literally don't get anything. And then the mid palate's where it really shines. And then the finish is kind of lacking to me too. It makes for a very, very easy drinking experience, and I think people are going to actually really like that. especially for an Elijah Craig barrel proof, this is crushable. You could just kill this whole thing, but I think some people want a big, bold, dense, super mouth coating, hit you in the teeth, let you know, flavor bomb, and I just don't think this is it. I don't want to be overcritical, and that's why I hope some of you guys who have this batch, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it, or especially go watch some other reviews, see what other people have to say about it. It's just not doing it for me, and I'm not gonna say I hate this. I think it tastes fine. It's just not living up to my expectation, especially off of the nose. I think the nose on this is really good, and then the palate is like 3 or 4, 5 points lower. Almost like you took an eyedropper and you were dropping some water into it, and then the whole thing fell in. It's like you asked for 1 piece of ice and they gave you 3. I think what we should do, just to be sure, is to compare it to A122 and see how they compare. Let you kind of formulate your own opinion. That way we can kind of give a baseline of where this sits. So I have A122 poured here, and we'll just smell them side by side. Yeah, like I said, on the nose, I think the B batch is still really good. It's very, kind of similar to the A batch to me. There might be even a little more of that cinnamon oak spice coming off on the B batch, and A is just super sweet all around. But on the palate, every part of my tongue lights up when I drink A. I'm tasting everything. It's firing, it's mouth coating, it's dense, it's still super sweet and creamy. It really does make the B kind of look even flatter than I was initially getting. All right, let me just give you my final thoughts, because I don't want to sit here and just, hate on this bottle. I think it tastes good. I think I would still recommend you, if you are an Elijah Craig barrel proof fan, to buy it and see what you think. If you are someone who wants that much bigger, bolder, little more in your face, or just more mouth coating and creamy, and you want that, this might not be worth the hunt for you. If you can easily get this, then yeah, I'm someone who's, it doesn't matter if you tell me it's the worst batch ever, I'm gonna buy it and see for myself. But if you have to hunt batches and go so far out of your way, this one might be worth saving some gas on. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you have this batch, let me know what you think. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it. I just don't think it lives up to my personal expectations. It's not really what I'm looking for in Elijah Craig barrel proof batch. And I think that's important to note. My final thoughts, my final statement is you need to know this going into this batch, that it drinks so much lighter. I use the word flat. Other people might say it's just light and more delicate and whatever you want to say. So maybe that's your style, and I think you would love this batch. But you need to know that going into it. That way you don't set this expectations of it's gonna be a monster batch and it's just gonna just flavor punch you in the tongue, and then you get it and it's like, who put all this friggin' water in my whiskey? So there's all of that to think about. Again, please, if you've tried this, let people know down below what you think of it, because maybe, yeah, if you love this batch, what did you love about it? Let people know so they're not just basing this on one dude's opinion. Remember, leave a like on the video. It really does help get my videos out there to more nerds like you. Subscribe if you're not already. Quit lurking. Check out the Patreon page. There's a link in the description of the video. We have so many cool things coming. It's friggin' crazy. And until next time, guys, I'm Trev Wilson. I will see you in the next video.